I say to this day, and I do it based on my reaction. Obviously, this is personal. I say it's the greatest knockout of all time. First time I ever stood up, I couldn't sit down. I was standing up. I was just like, oh!
I saw that. I saw you stand up. That's the first time I see
it. Was just, what?
But when you take care of me forever and ever.
In the last 6 rounds with AJ, in my opinion, he won 4 of them. People will argue that. He at least won 3.
When Anthony Joshua finally unleashed the crushing 6th round knockout, that brought Jake Paul's ambitious run to a halt. Joe Rogan's live reaction perfectly reflected the scale of what had just happened. Rogan, who had repeatedly cautioned about Joshua's concussive one-punch power and the danger Paul was walking into, immediately treated the moment as more than a routine stoppage. In real time, he framed it as a potentially historic knockout, one that could be replayed for years as an example of how violently boxing reality can assert itself when worlds collide.
Come full steam ahead 100 miles an hour, or Jake would have moved around the ring at 100 miles an hour. There's 2 things I would have done. Tried to shut Jake down at 100 miles an hour, or I would have gone on the back foot. So Jake decided to move around the ring, and I decided.
The bout, billed as a form of Judgment Day, was scheduled for 8 3-minute rounds in the heavyweight division. Joshua entered as the clear favorite, backed by elite experience, championship pedigree, and a sizable physical edge. At 6 feet 6 inches and approximately 243 pounds, Joshua outweighed and outsized Paul, who came in around 116 pounds. After a few cautious, probing rounds where both men tested distance and timing, Joshua began to take firm control. He dropped Paul multiple times in the 5th round, steadily breaking him down before delivering the decisive finish in the 6th. At 1:31 of the round, a thunderous right hand sent Paul.
Anthony Joshua. Paul was sturdy for the first couple of rounds, but as the fight went on, the more experienced Joshua began to take control. After continuously connecting in the 5th round, it was only a matter of time before it was over. In the 6th, Joshua went on to knock out Paul with a big right hand. Joshua improved his career record to 29-4 now. Paul loses for the 2nd time in his career to go.
Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul quickly became one of the most discussed fights of the year, not only because of the names involved, but because it so clearly illustrated the tension between traditional heavyweight boxing and the influencer-driven era of the sport.
Performance by Jake, brother.
Come on, bro. He's a fucking legend for that. He has such big balls getting in the ring with that guy, dude. Josh was a monster. He stayed in it the whole time, and I'm really proud of Jake, dude. All my respect to him, bro. I mean, dude, he went 6.5 rounds with Anthony Joshua, one of the best in the world. So I got nothing but respect.
And got up like 2 times.
No, it was sick.
Talk about that. I mean, there's been other heavyweights that have felt that right hand who haven't got up.
Nagano, so many people, bro. The overhand right. Jake's got a tough chin, dude. I think he does whatever he wants after this. He just has such big balls, dude. He had to keep moving. That was the only strategy. People are gonna say he ran around the ring. They don't know. They don't understand fucking boxing.
You showed a ton of heart, right? What's next for Jake Paul? Where does he go?
Joshua, a former two-time unified heavyweight champion, was widely expected to prevail, while Paul, a YouTuber-turned boxer, had built massive attention around his career despite skepticism from boxing purists. Still, few genuinely believed Paul could endure elite heavyweight power over the course of a real fight. In the aftermath,
some people believe in fairy tales. Whoever believed that Jake Paul was going to win, that was an absolute fairy tale. I've got a friend in a group message that said, I just put $20 on Jake Paul to win. I was like, bro, you just wasted your money. There was never a world in which Jake Paul was going to beat Anthony Joshua. It was always a matter of how the fight would end. So I watched all the pundits talking about the fight. Even Rosendo, my boxing coach, I was like, does Anthony Joshua represent boxing? Everybody from that world felt like Anthony Joshua was representing boxing. And as the fight started to go on, first off, he was representing boxing, so they wanted him to get the job done. All right, first and foremost. You can't lose to a guy that's perceived to be a YouTuber, even though today, Jake Paul is more boxer than YouTuber. I've said this time and time again. When you have resources, when you can spend $1 million a year on training camps, housing, food, coaches, this is not recreational anymore. He's a boxer. He's just not a boxer at that level. I ran into his brother in New York City, and I said to Logan, what parameters are in place, Logan? What safeguards do they have to make sure that Anthony Joshua doesn't hurt your brother? He said there are none. He goes, they're going to just straight fight. So in that regard, you got to give credit.
Joshua was notably honest in his self-assessment. While he acknowledged securing the 6th-round knockout, he admitted the performance fell short of his own standards. He explained that he struggled early to land clean shots and found it harder than expected to trap Paul and finish the fight sooner. Joshua described the result as a victory, but not a complete success, emphasizing that he remains focused on improvement and believes there is still more refinement.
Better is a lot of things, 100%. In the fight game, you've seen the amazing fighters that have graced us over the last 100 years, and the expectations that we put on ourselves are immense, but I tried my best. Jake done well while it lasted, but if you remember what I said in the interview with Cameron is, fighting's not just physical, it's psychological. And when you understand the psychological warfare, I did say to you is that, Jake, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna see a time when I'm gonna take your soul and you're either gonna give up or you're gonna...
Despite the emphatic ending, Joshua took time to credit Paul's toughness and resolve. He praised Paul for continuing to rise after being knocked down, and for staying competitive against a vastly more experienced former world champion. Joshua pointed out that many fighters would not have accepted such a dangerous challenge, and expressed respect for Paul's willingness to keep pushing through adversity inside the ring.
AJ's won 6 rounds, he kind of dismantled him, he took his time. How do you see it?
Yeah, it was a frustrating 2-3 rounds maybe, because Jake was moving so much, holding, but did well, I thought. I mean, I was impressed with him. I mean, I was more impressed with his toughness, because I think that last shot would have knocked out most heavyweights. I mean, I know
he broke his jaw.
Yeah, I know, it knocked him out, but he was not unconscious. You know, I mean, look, he may not come back from, if he has broken his jaw, it's a big injury to come back from.
Well, there's pictures of him in hospital right now.
Well, listen, you've got to respect him, because he did what many people wouldn't do, which was get in the ring with him. And, you know, he didn't, I know he run and hold, but he also let his hands go at times. And he was in the firing line, and, you know, we got 6 good rounds in the end of actual work.
Is that how you see it in the end?
Yeah, I actually think it's a positive, because, you know, we could have gone in there and got it all over with 45 seconds. He's done an 8-week camp, and now he's done 6 rounds. He's got something to go back on.
Paul sustained a serious injury in the 6th-round knockout, later confirmed to be a broken jaw. Immediately after the final right hand landed, Paul was bloodied and said in his post-fight interview that he believed his jaw had been fractured. Medical scans later confirmed breaks into places, commonly referred to as a double broken jaw. Staying true to his defined...
Logan, what's up, man? What's your reaction to it?
I'm just so proud of him. My mom has it.
Your brother fought his ass off, man.
Yeah,
I mean, other heavyweights have taken that right hand and only took 1.
I'm just so proud of him. That was incredible. In my view, that was a victory on all fronts.
Right.
Like, minus the actual victory, obviously, of course, but bro, like, no one expected him to last 6 rounds with AJ. In my opinion, he won 4 of them. People will argue that he at least won 3. No one expected him to last that long. Rolled his ankle, broke his jaw, still fucking fighting, man. Like, that's toughness. You know, most people wouldn't have the balls ever to step in a boxing ring to bring in their life. He stepped in a boxing ring with one of the baddest men on the planet, who's 40 pounds heavier than him and 6 inches taller. That's insane. He's one of the most skilled fighters on the planet. My brother, as a fucking YouTuber, went 6 rounds with him in a fight with a broken jaw and rolled ankle. I'm so proud of him. That was just unbelievable.
I saw you talking crap to AJ at one point.
I was trying to get his head. I think I pissed him off. I was just saying fuck shit. I love AJ.
Yeah.
But bro,
I saw you going
them. I was talking so much. But I just pissed him off. Then he broke my brother's jaw.
Paul posted an X-ray image on social media with the caption, "Double broken jaw. Give me Canelo in 10 days." He later drove himself to the hospital for treatment, with doctors estimating a recovery timeline of 4 to 6 weeks.
Nikisa, just down here, Jeffrey from The Sun. Just to follow up on Jake, he said he broke his jaw in the aftermath. Has he gone to hospital? What's the health update on Jake?
Yeah, we think he broke his jaw. He's fine. We met with Netflix afterwards. He took a shower. He drove himself to the hospital. A broken jaw is very common in sports, particularly in boxing or MMA, and I think the recovery time from the doctors and surgeons we've already talked to is...
Paul's business partner, Nikisa Baidarian, publicly praised Jake's heart durability and overall game plan following the loss. He stated that Paul performed admirably against one of the most feared punchers. in heavyweight boxing, and even suggested that Jake may have won a few early rounds. But Darian emphasized that the decisive factor was not a lack of boxing ability, but the significant size and weight disparity. Joshua's heavier frame and physical strength steadily drained Paul's energy, allowing the former champion to land increasingly punishing shots. That ultimately led to the knockout, reinforcing that Paul's effort still deserved respect despite the outcome.